So I was sitting there listening to an interview, and I listened to interviews of a lot of different people. Some left, some right, some no affiliation. And what started me doing this was years ago, Ben Shapiro interviewed Bill Maher. And I realized that despite the fact I'm a conservative, and Bill Maher is a little nutty, doesn't mean he's wrong. And I realized that I've been lied to. The man is the true definition of a liberal. He's not a progressive. He's a liberal. He's an honest, good, old-fashioned liberal. It was kind of shocking to me. So, I've been kind of having more of a open up my mind, of what I'm listening to. And then the topic of Alex Jones comes up. He always seemed a little nutty to me. But here's the thing about Alex Jones. He's been dead right about a lot of stuff. If you look through all of his... And a lot of it was a shtick, don't get me wrong. And what ended up finally convincing me was an interview with Tucker Carlson. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. Watch it. This is a very sincere man with very serious beliefs who had everything taken away from him for having an idea. What he was saying, he was questioning the whole Sandy Hook thing. If you really listen to it, he never said what they said he said. He was actually just repeating things that were already out there on the internet. False flags, all that other BS everybody throws out. Camera. Yeah, it's a hoot. And I see that a lot. And they destroyed him. Well, recently they just destroyed Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, for having an opinion. I often think, I spent some time down in actual Mexico, I did some mission work down there. And I got a little bit of the local history. And what happened with Mexico. Back in the 60s and 70s, Mexico was a free country until 1972, when they elected a communist government. And that was going all over Latin America in the 50s and 60s and 70s. Communism was right on our doorstep. And the one parallel I can draw is Canada is Mexico in 1972. But Canada will be Mexico in 2030. You can get arrested in Canada, a pastor can, for denouncing homosexuality from the pulpit. There's no free speech there. They don't have a Bill of Rights like we have. The rights are being very quickly taken away from them. With guys who are more in line with Europe going for the one world government. The Podesta plan. Look it up. It's fascinating. I don't want to get too crazy and go down this rabbit hole, but as I sat there and I listened to Alex Jones just talk about his life, about what he was going through, about what they were doing to him, I realized one thing. This is not a crazy man. This isn't even an unhinged man. This is a very balanced individual. And they're going after him. Why? When all those other guys were saying the same thing, why are they going after him? Because he's a conservative. Because he has beliefs that are different from the status quo. Because he's doing exactly what they tell us to do, question. But you're not allowed to question them. And when you start seeing stuff like this, you should be very alarmed. Whether you agree with him or not, I don't care. I really don't care. What I care about is what I'm seeing, because They can silence him for having an idea. They can silence me. They can silence you. Oh, they'll never do that. What do you mean they'll never do that? They're already doing that. They all talk about hate speech. The curses of being a left-handed person. They all talk about hate speech. There's no such thing as hate speech. There's hateful speech. There's people that say things that are hateful. But hate speech is still protected by the Constitution. Now, don't get me wrong. There are consequences for saying horrible things. The whole Charlie Kirk thing illustrated that. A friend of mine get fired for being political at work. Don't get me wrong, he deserved it. They gave him plenty of chances. Wouldn't shut up. So, discretion is the better part of valor. But at the end of the day, you have to really start looking at these cases and think, this isn't right. And I'm going to tell you right now, if they shut down a liberal the same way they shut down Alex Jones, I would be on that liberal side. You know, before I go, if you ever want to see a fascinating story about speech being protected, look up when the ACLU defended the American Nazi Party. A Jewish lawyer did it. And he didn't agree with them at all, but he knew that if they allowed the government to get away banning their speech, eventually they were going to come after the things he cared about. So it's all or nothing. And you really have to weigh the balance. We live in America. We live in a great place. We want it all. And if we don't start protecting these rights, we are going to have nothing.